Is breaking news on WDSU.
Right now, we're giving you a live look from Bourbon Street, courtesy of EarthCam. More than 24 hours later, there's still a police presence and also crews cleaning following the tragic events that happened just a few hours after ringing in the new year. This morning, 15 people are dead and 30 others in the hospital after a man plowed a pickup truck through Bourbon Street before opening fire on police officers.
And Daryl, we want to show folks at home the victims who lost their lives. They are right there on your screen. Both locals and tourists were killed. And we're learning more about one victim in the moments before he lost his life. We'll get to that in just a moment. Meantime, we are digging into the suspect, 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, who was also killed during the attack by police. He is believed to have ties to terrorist organizations. We have team coverage this morning bringing you all aspects of this terror attack and what's being done today to make sure the Sugar Bowl is safe. Let's begin with WDSU reporter Anam Siddiqui, who has a timeline of the events that took place yesterday. Anam, good morning.
Yeah, Morgan, first I want to mention that we're on Canal Street where tensions are still high. So many people, from tourists to us who live here, are still trying to wrap around how this new year got started. Now, you talked about a timeline of events. I'm going to get into some numbers, but keep in mind that this is an ongoing investigation, so these numbers can change at any moment. But for right now, we know that at least 15 people are dead and more than 30 people are recovering after a truck plowed onto Bourbon Street and Canal early New Year's Day, and the city calling this a terrorist attack. Now take a look at your screen for a photo and name of the suspect. This right now on your screen is 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar of Texas. We also know that he is an Army vet. Now he was shot dead after an exchange of gunfire between officers before he was killed. We're told Jabbar rented a truck from Texas and drove it down here. Videos show the white truck driving down Canal, swerving past NOPD vehicles and plowing down Bourbon. He was reportedly wearing full military gear at the time of the attack. The FBI reports the terrorist group ISIS flag was found inside of his rented truck. Now, it was absolute chaos when I arrived to Canal at 3 a.m. yesterday. Streets still shut down. Police at the time searching for explosives. At one point, I was in the St. Roch area where the FBI was investigating a home with possible bomb-making material inside. As of right now, it's not confirmed if Jabbar acted alone. Many have questions about exactly how Jabbar got onto Bourbon. I can tell you this. City officials are currently replacing bollards ahead of the Super Bowl. So at the time of the attack, bollards were not in place in that specific spot, but NOPD lays down the measures they did have in place. Take a listen.
And we did indeed harden those target areas where the ballers are. We had patrol cars out there as a hard target, as well as with barriers. Now, I want to share with y'all, if you did not know, that this particular terrorist drove around onto the sidewalk and got around the hard target, where he did have a car there, we had barriers there, we had officers there, and they still got around.
And we have much more on Jabbar. I know our anchor, Daryl Forges, is here on Canal also just watching what's happening right now, 24 hours after this tragedy. So, Daryl, I know you have more details on this whole situation.
Yeah, Anam, good morning to you. And just sitting here in the middle of Canal Street between Canal and Bourbon, it's just an eerie feeling. It's not what I'm used to seeing here in the heart of the city of New Orleans. Right here behind me, you can still see there's a lot of crime tape. Police continue their investigation. We also did see Ivy Waste here earlier this morning. They started cleaning out parts of Bourbon Street, and we also saw some folks leaving the city of New Orleans as well. We saw a lot of people leaving with their luggage. Spoke to one guy who says, I'm getting out of here, I'm going home. So there's a lot of concern and a lot of feeling and a lot of tense feelings here in the heart of the city of New Orleans. And Anam, you just talked about it. We are continuing to learn more information about this suspect in this situation. I want to go and show you his picture right now this morning. This is who FBI identifies as a driver as 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar. He was shot and killed on the scene. A senior law enforcement official tells NBC News that 4 people believed to have planted bombs in the area have been ruled out as suspects. Also, according to NBC News, the video of the 4 people was the basis for the FBI's suspicion that Jabbar did not act alone. Now, NBC reports that the FBI is still not prepared to say that Jabbar carried out the attack alone. The FBI is asking the public this morning to call this number, 1-800-CALL-FBI, or contact them at tips.fbi.gov if you interacted with the suspect within the last 72 hours. Now, this investigation is crossing state lines as well. We also know a man was arrested at the suspect's home in North Houston, Texas. This video shows a man surrendering to SWAT outside of Jabbar's home as officers pointed their guns at him. We also know the SWAT team brought at least 4 kids and 5 adults out of that home. The man surrendering in this video has been taken into custody, but we don't know his connection to the suspect or the attack itself. Now, Morgan, there's also concerns about those 2 explosives that were found in the French Quarter yesterday.
And Daryl, our crews were actually on TV live on Bourbon Street when police supposedly detonated 2 IED devices in the area. Take a look at that coverage.
Whoa, they just detonated something. We got another fire in the hole, so we have another There it is again. They just blew something else.
Now, we've heard reports that people were hearing pops like that throughout the day yesterday, and Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill says one of the IEDs was placed between 2 law enforcement vehicles. NOPD and their bomb squad also evacuated an area on Mandeville Street in St. Roch after a fire broke out at a home there. Police were searching for additional explosives. They believe the attacker was renting the home as an Airbnb. This morning, we are learning more about one of the victims killed in yesterday's attack. 27-year-old Tiger Beck was a former Princeton football player. And according to his sister, he was walking back to his hotel with his best friend when the attack unfolded on Bourbon Street. We're told Beck died from internal injuries, including head trauma. His friend, Ryan Quigley, was injured, but is said to be in stable condition. Now, Beck's sister tells WDSU the last time she heard from her brother was when he texted the family Happy New Year. Beck was originally from Lafayette, and his sister says he was visiting Louisiana for the holidays. He was set to fly back yesterday morning. 5:38, and the Sugar Bowl was set to kick off last night inside the Caesars Superdome, but that game was postponed in the wake of this unimaginable attack. It will now kick off at 3 p.m. today, and WDSU reporter Elizabeth Kubel is joining us live from outside the dome with more on that decision to postpone the game and also the security measures in place to make sure everyone is safe today. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning, Morgan. And so that means that thousands of college football fans will be exactly where we're standing right here inside and in the Caesars Superdome in just a couple of hours from now, 24 hours after you mentioned that horrific terror attack. This is an area that city and state leaders are stressing is safe. Now, news of that awful attack was so devastating to all of us, right? When we heard about it, it was also so devastating for Sugar Bowl officials who say that they hurt as much as anybody right now. So in response, they moved the primetime playoff game between Notre Dame and Georgia to 3 p.m. today. We're told law enforcement that would typically be allocated to an event this big are engaged in active investigations related to the attack. So that postponement allows for additional security resources to be put in place, and public safety is paramount, as right now efforts are focused on securing the Superdome. Congressman Troy Carter talked about the decision to push back the Sugar Bowl.
Rest assured that the decision that was made to postpone the game was not done lightly. It was done with one single thing in mind: public safety. Making sure that the citizens and visitors of this great city, not only for this event, but for every event you come to in Louisiana, that you will be safe. And we will use every resource possible, as the governor has said, as the mayor has said, and every law enforcement agent here has said. Our energy, our commitment will be to make sure that you are safe now and for every event in the future.
And of course, that really is what it is all about. Governor Jeff Landry said that he would be at the game, and City Council President Helena Moreno said that she purchased a ticket to the Sugar Bowl as well. Reporting live just outside the Caesars Superdome, I'm Elizabeth Kubel, WDSU News.
Elizabeth, thank you. And you have the chance to help the victims of this attack by rolling up your sleeve. Today, the Blood Center and New Orleans EMS are holding a blood drive from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Blood Center headquarters on Canal Street. And all of the donor centers throughout Southeast Louisiana and portions of Mississippi will also be open today from 10 to 7. So please make sure to eat before donating and bring a photo ID with you.